everyone. This is Brittnee Bond, and welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a very interesting episode for you. This one is, you guys, I'm basically going to reveal a secret that I haven't shared in a while. And this is really funny because when I started doing the play parties, I did them secretly, not secretly, but like I did them without sharing about them online or publicly for about a year. So you only knew about the play parties through word of mouth here on the island. And it was very exclusive and very like VIP, and like you had to know someone because I was just starting them and I was just figuring out like how do I want to host them. And I really just wanted it to be my tribe, and that's like how they started. And it took about a year for me, one, to feel comfortable in my facilitation, and also for me to understand what I was actually doing, because I felt like the universe was like birthing this experience through me. And then here we are. Almost 4 years later, and almost 2,000 people have come through the play parties. And tonight we're hosting another one. We have over 60 people paid and confirmed, and it's like, let's go. I got my women who are hosting it with me, and everything's great. And so the thing I want to share with you is something I haven't shared before. And basically it's like something that has just come out of me, having my OnlyFans last year and understanding like what men want and what men actually need in this timeline, because like in our lifetime, and where we are currently in the world. And what came to me was a lot of men reaching out, really wanting to be in my feminine energy. But again, it wasn't for sex. And I was like, what do they actually want? Like, what am I doing that's different than other women? And what I realized was that they actually really wanted to be around a woman who is deeply in her feminine energy. So her energy is focused on creating more pleasure in her own body. So like I was taking responsibility for my life in the sense of like really taking charge of the time and energy that I went into making myself feel good in my own body. And this energy to be around is so magnetic, and it's so yummy for men, women, children, aliens, everyone. A woman who's really in her pleasure is like, it just feels so good. And also they wanted a woman to basically be the activation for them to step more fully in their power. And in order for this to actually happen, they needed to be around a woman who really valued herself. So the way that I think of everything in energy, and the way I think of it energetically is that like for a man to really step in his full manhood, he needs to have something that's worth the activation. So like from an energetic standpoint, I just think of like the storm that is just like, chaos magic, that is the feminine. And then the man comes into the storm, and if she can hold her ground and really see him and see what his potential can be and see where he's at and what he needs to grow in order for him to open his heart, in order for him to step fully in his power. This chaos magic that is the divine feminine can funnel into a man's energy. And again, this doesn't need to happen sexually. This is just two energies of two people hanging out and spending time together. This can activate and empower a man to step fully into his full, like, divine masculine. And this is like what all men crave, is to actually really be a man, and a man worth the attention of a divine feminine. A woman who really values herself, is deeply in her feminine energy, will take no shit, and will nicely call him out. And because he wants this activation, he wants someone that is worth. It's like you're going on this adventure, and like Hero's Odyssey, or like all these different adventures of men stepping into their power and stepping into their full, just like manhood. And what was the thing that really activated them was that there was this journey that they needed to go on, and it was worth it, because at the end of the journey they had a prize, which was and is and still will forever will be feminine energy. So if you're not switched on to this yet, I'm going to break it down for you that the masculine is here to make themselves feel accomplished and make themselves feel like they are worth value. But all of this doesn't matter if they don't have that recognized by the feminine energy in their life. So feminine energy is really why men do everything, why they go to the gym, why they make money, why they are, 3D successful, accomplished in this world. It's because they want to feel that they are worthy of the feminine energy that they desire in their life, whatever woman is in their life that they crave and they desire. But a lot of us women have been fed this lie that we need to be the one, chasing the men, and we need to be working on ourselves and all these things. And it's like, and we're like, basically we're focused on them. We're like trying to serve them. And this is where things have gotten really fucked up. And people consciously are not aware of this. And the reasons why it got fucked up, I could go, it's a whole other podcast about but I'm not even going to go into that. I want to just share the secret that I have been doing, which is basically I have been this exploration of the male psyche, because for me, I'm always like, how can I use my energy to heal us as a collective? So men, women, others, how can me being myself help everyone else around? And I work with women a lot. I do I'm going to do a women's retreat here soon on the island. I just need to lock in the dates, and I have some, my team, I just need to align some stuff and I'll announce it. And that is really, the point of that is to activate women into their full fucking power, because I just look around and I'm like, do you guys realize that you are the thing that everyone is trying to, you are the prize, your energy, your approval, your feminine power is what men crave. It's not you doing anything. It's not you being in your masculine. It's not you, you don't need to work on yourself. You just need to hold your ground in your feminine power and value yourself and set boundaries of who gets to come into this beautiful energy and who does not deserve to be in this beautiful energy. And when you understand this and when you can play with this in a very feminine way, oh my gosh, you have unlimited amounts of, as my mom would say, suitors, men who want to be in your energy. And so the reason why I started my OnlyFans was because, one, I wanted to understand what was the edge of me exploring my own sexuality, and also two, how can I help heal? Because for me, I'm very dropped into my body. I'm very embodied. I'm very in my power as a woman. I'm very in my feeling safe to express my sexuality. I know my edges. I know my boundaries of, interacting with people in person. And then I was wondering, what was this like when I was online? I don't know if you can tell in my voice, but I'm still getting better. I was sick the last couple days. And in this exploration of me speaking with men on my OnlyFans, I realized that they wanted a woman who was really in her power to hold space for them and for them to heal and for them to feel this activation. It's worth going on this hero's journey for them to open their heart and for them to fully step in their power. And what they really needed was a woman who saw herself first. Her energy is focused on herself and doing whatever she needs to do to be in her feminine energy and to feel juicy in her body. And for me, that is my main priority. Everyone else can fuck off. If I need, the last couple of days I've been sick, and I had many people that wanted to hang out with me, many beautiful men. This guy, Joel, that I met the other day, we made the podcast with, he wanted to hang out, and I was like, I'm not sorry, actually. I need to take care of myself, so I'm going to be in bed, and I'm just going to be cozy with Afro and watch movies, and, Joe's going to take Afro to the beach, and other men are going to help me do my errands, and other men are dropping off food for me, and this is a woman divinely in her feminine, and I reward all of them with my yummy energy and my appreciation and also my feminine power, which is my ability to be able to see them and empower them and believe in them that they can rise up, and to not take any shit if they are, out of alignment in some way, to nicely bring them back into alignment by letting them know, hey, I see something. Do you want me to reflect this for you? And they're like, yeah, actually I do. And so with the OnlyFans stuff, I started to ask these men, do you want me to do coaching for you? Because this is actually what you're actually want, like, I don't think they like, yeah, okay, maybe they wanted to be with me personally, but that was not an option. I wasn't giving that as an option. I know my boundaries. And I'm here for like all of the women getting the divine masculine in their lives. So I was like, I would actually like to step out of this, role of like someone you're desiring and more step into the role of guiding you as like the high priestess, as the woman in her feminine power, and guiding you to you being fully this confident man who's fully in his masculine, who can allow himself to say no. Oh my God, it's so sexy when a man says no. Like when he really has his boundaries and he speaks them. And then when he does this, the reason why this is sexy is because as a woman, then we can trust him. Then we know that when he says no, we can trust him. And when he says yes, he actually has capacity, because it makes a woman feel very unsafe if a man says, yes, I can do this for you. And actually they don't have capacity. They're under-resourced, or they're just incompetent. And then somehow it comes back on us women, in resentment and the thing not getting done in the right way. And, just like the energy coming back where we have to deal with it, which is just backfiring basically. So I started work. So a lot of them said yes. They were like, yeah, okay, I would be up for coaching. And some of them was here in person on the island, and some of them I do online. I wrote some notes of the things that I was teaching them. So it sounds really funny, but literally I was teaching them how to be a real man. Because in today's world, I honestly, I do not pity, because to me, feeling pity for someone is disempowering them. But I feel like men who chose to come down into the timeline, like into our life, like as a soul right now in this time when we're shifting very rapidly, our vibration as a collective, both men and women, but I'm speaking to the men right now. I feel like they have picked a very funny timeline, because the old way of doing things as a man to, just to be in charge and to run things, that like when I was in LA, my friends who work in movies and stuff, they were just like, if you're a white man in LA right now, like you're not getting booked for anything, because there's so much hate towards the masculine right now that has just been built up for generations, and now it's finally coming out. And so if you're like a good man who just happened to be born in this lifetime and you're just like trying to be a good man, a lot of times what happens is you don't end up taking up space in the way of you being fully in your masculine, because you're worried about taking up negative space. You're worried about being quote unquote a bad man. And what this does is it puts a lot of men into what we call freeze mode. So for your nervous system, there's like when you get activated, when you get scared, when you're afraid of doing something wrong, there's different ways to react. There's fight, so you can get aggressive. There's flight, you can run away. So many men end up becoming very emotionally avoidant. Or you can freeze. And freezing is like, like when a car is driving and like a deer sees the headlights and it doesn't move. That's like freezing. It's like a deer in the headlights. But from an energetic perspective, this is many men. So from an emotional, energetic perspective, they're just frozen. They're just like, I don't know what to do, because if I step this way, it's wrong. If I step that way, it's wrong. Someone's going to get angry at me no matter what I do. So I'm just going to not take up space and freeze. And so when I work with these men, I'm like, I want you to take up space. I choose for you to take up space in my life in certain ways. So I like have them practice different things so that they're taking up energetic space. And I teach them how to do this in a way that is very positive for the feminine, and that the feminine really loves to receive, because we love it when a man takes up space, when it's positive. When his energy is used to protect you and provide for you and check on you and make sure you're okay, and just like make your life better by them being in your life. Like that's taking up positive space. Like when they actively think of like how you're doing and do you need anything, like I have, when I shared on my Insta story that I was sick, I had so many of you, men and women, but I'm speaking to the men here, that reached out and they were like, can I do something for you? I want to help you in some way. And even my Matrix man reached out from Dubai, and he was like, how are you? Like, can I help you in some way? Like even from afar, I want to show up for you. And these are the things that are, this is what I mean about, this is a perfect example of a man taking up positive space. And that is like so scary for some men because they've had so many bad experiences, even giving compliments like they've had bad experiences, or paying for something for a woman they've had bad experiences. And I'm like, what? This is what all of us women crave, is a beautiful man that we love his energy in our life, and he's showering us with compliments, like, you know, authentic ones, not like trying to get anything out of us, but just like sharing beautiful ways that he finds us good looking or appreciates who we are as a person, you know? And also like paying for stuff. Like it's, for me, it's so interesting that we've gone as a society where it's like, I need to be completely on my own and like completely independent. And it's like, as a woman, especially when I'm out in public, like if I'm in my house, like I'm in my energy, right? But when I'm out in public, in order for me to share my feminine energy with the world, it feels so much better when a man takes up space by creating a protective physical bubble around me. So I'll give you an example. When I met this guy, Joel, the other day, we met at a cafe here on the island. I had already ordered breakfast, takeaway, because I was planning to come back to my house and make a podcast, and I'd already ordered a drink. And he came and he was like, can I get you anything? Immediately, can I get you anything? Can I order you anything? So I ordered another drink. And then when we left, he was like, let me pay for that for you. I'll just meet you at the bike, you know? And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I didn't meet him at the bike. I ended up like cuddling up next to him while he paid because I was really appreciative, and it made me feel more in my feminine. It made me want to be in the energy more of wherever we were, because I was able to unfold more into my feminine energy because he was creating this protective physical bubble around us of just like, I didn't have to think of anything. And I can pay for my own stuff, you know, like this is what I'm trying to say, is it's not about independence here. It's not about someone controlling. Like he didn't pay for me because he wanted something out of me. He paid for me because he liked being in my energy and he was appreciative. And this is the natural masculine thing to do, to take up space. There's so much more I could say about that. And something else that I love helping men with is, I'm just looking at my notes. I think I said this before, but I want to go into it deeper, is like the feminine activation of a man into his real divine masculine, like his manhood, you know? It's like, what does that even mean? But, you know, men, like, since birth, they are programmed to be competitive. And from a primal perspective, this is, I will compete with other men in order to get the attention of the feminine. And like from a very primal perspective, this is like, you know, I want to marry or whatever, be with a woman, have kids or whatever. I want the feminine attention. So everything that a man has done since childhood up until adulthood, whether they're conscious of it or not, is this. And when you see like misogyny, when you see men who are hating on women, it's actually from a subconscious level, they've given up on wanting, or they feel so unworthy of a feminine attention, or they've given up on trying. Maybe they've had negative experiences of them trying to get feminine attention and it not working, or feeling like, just like in some way unworthy of it growing up. And then they go very into their negative, or what is it? I think some people call it wounded masculine energy, which is like, they kind of just close off from the outside energetically, and they just focus on building their life and being successful for themselves and not taking care of anyone around them. And what ends up happening, because I know some of these men, they come to me also for coaching, is they build this kingdom for themselves, and then they feel so fucking lonely in it. And then they try and fill some of this loneliness by instant gratification with women. So this is like, you know, the pickup artist stuff of like seducing women, having very surface level connections with women. And I'll ask them, I said, have you ever been in love, you know? And they're like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, why not? You know, you can tell me, like, we're working together. And they'll tell me that it's so scary. It's so scary to open their heart, because if they did that, then that means that they are vulnerable to being hurt. And if a man has a very core wound of feeling unworthy, or feeling like they opened their heart in the past and it wasn't held in a safe way by a woman who wasn't fully in her power, and she was feeling insecure and she wasn't able to hold the ground. So basically, like, us women, we are leading energetically in relationships, and we have to be with other women. We have to be in our power through this activation with other women. And when we're in our power, then we're in our high priestess. And when we're in our high priestess archetype, then we can hold the ground to activate the man. And a lot of women have never had this opportunity to be in deep sisterhood. They've never had an opportunity to really feel fully in their power. And so when they interact with a man who wants to be activated by them, it ends up, they use it to feed their own feelings of their own unworthiness. And so when two people are doing this and they're feeling unworthy and they're trying to use each other's attention or validation to fill this hole that only they can fill themselves, or at least only a woman, I'll say only a woman can fill herself, and a man can be activated by a woman, but then again, he has to fill it himself. Like, a woman can't do this for him. So everyone's got to do their own soul growth. I feel like I got on a tangent there. Let me back up. But so they were saying that about opening their hearts, and I said to them, I was like, well, first off, one of them asked me, what does it mean? What do you mean by being in love? Like, because I was like, have you ever been in love? And he was like, can you quantify this for me? Like, very masculine. Like, can you put this in a box for me? And I was like, okay, well, my definition, again, everyone has their own, but my definition of a man or being in love is when you choose to, like, literally energetically merge your soul with another person, and you just feel so excited that they are alive and so grateful that you get the opportunity to love them and share your energy with them, and so terrified at the idea that at some point they might not be in your life anymore. You know, someone asked me one time, like, what do you, like, I was talking to a girlfriend about, like, am I in love with this guy? And she said, well, a good reason, or a good way for you to know if you're in love is to ask yourself, now that you know that this person exists, if they're not in your life anymore, how would that make you feel? Like, if tomorrow they died or they just weren't in your life. And I just, like, when I thought of this man, when I was talking to her at the time, I just started crying. I was like, oh, it's so painful. Like, I don't want to even think of that, you know? And for me, that is the most beautiful, tender, vulnerable, intimate feeling that a person can have. And it's also the biggest growth that we can have, and it's the biggest activation, and it's the biggest amount of pleasure in all the ways. Because when you make love with someone that you have that feeling with, like, to me, making love is, we are choosing to merge our energies together to build something energetically together in the spirit world, and then bring that into the 3D. Like, I don't fuck around, literally. I don't fuck around when it comes to making love anymore. Like, for me, it's a very special thing. It's a very serious thing. And I really believe that all of us should honor it more and, like, protect it. Something else that this is like, I don't know how y'all are going to feel about this. This is why I haven't made this podcast yet. Because I'm like, can they handle this? I don't know. Can you handle this? I don't know. But I feel like the universe wants me to make this today, because I have many things that I need to do for the play party, and I'm going to go to the gym and go in the sauna with a beautiful man. And we just spent the morning with Joel because he was leaving today. He's supposed to come to the play party, and then he has to work, so he has to get back to Bangkok, which is fine. He's going to come back soon. What I wanted to share with you was that a main thing that I help men with is okay, what I'm going to say. I got my notes. In order for a man to really appreciate a woman, in order for him to really appreciate the divine feminine, he has to work for her attention, for her approval, for her softness. in order for him to really value it. Because for a man, like having a woman who is like I was saying before, this is like what they are. This is like what they have strived their whole life to attain. What they have done consciously or subconsciously, this is what they have done everything to attain. And if this is going to be the highest reward, then it needs to be something that was worth working for. And it needs to be something they actually have to work for. And a lot of women today are not giving a man this activation because a lot of women are not in their own knowingness that their feminine energy is the prize. And their self-worth is not anchored into themselves and into their body. And so they're not able to be this activation for the man. And when a man understands on a conscious or a subconscious level, oh, I got to work for this one, this starts activating his divine masculine energy. And the more that he works for that energy of the woman, again, it's not about having sex necessarily. It's about the journey of, she is holding herself at such high value, and I must go through whatever obstacles, challenges, soul growth in order to be deemed worthy of her softness, her energy, her attention, her approval. And she's going to call me out if I'm not deemed worthy. And that's also exciting because, wow, someone actually cares enough and someone values themselves enough to be able to hold this standard. So then it's basically like women, we have the benchmark. We are holding the benchmark. We are holding the whole game in our hands. And men are stepping in and they want to play this game of getting our attention, our approval, our energy. And because for many thousands of years, the game has been flipped and thrown off the table and no one understands what we're playing anymore, everyone is very frustrated and everyone is not having a fun time with this game. We're not even playing the game anymore. We're just all screaming at each other. And so I'm over here like, let's play the game. Let's enjoy ourselves also while playing the game. And let's have all of this activation happen, so this is what I've been doing. This is like my secret I'm trying to tell you is that I've really dialed it in. I really understand what activates a man into his divine masculine. And I am so happy to do this because I know that when they go out in the world, they are going to be a great man for my sisters. And I consider every woman out there a sister, unless you've screwed me over, and then you're not my sister. But, as a Scorpio energy over here, it's like I immediately give this trust to the collective of women that as women and as sisters, we are more powerful when we're together. And when we are together and we are really supporting each other and we have each other's back and when we understand that it's not competition and that we have all the power in this game. And so we might as well be enjoying ourselves and using this power for good to activate men into their divine masculine, because when they are activated into their divine masculine, then they show up in our lives in a way that feels yummy and nourishing for us. And then our energy is going back towards them in the supportive, nourishing softness, appreciation, approval, admiration of the masculine. And again, this is what every single man craves. So it's like, are you getting a little bit of what I'm trying to break down here for you? That in my exploration in the last couple of years, I have started to really understand like what men and women both energetically want. And I love teaching people this because in my life, it has been such a light bulb switch on where I'm like, oh my God, I was not valuing myself. I was giving my attention and my approval and my softness away, like as if it was like McDonald's fast food, And so if I'm not valuing it, again, women lead in this. So if I'm not valuing it, there's no way that he's going to value it. And then he's just going to move on to something that is harder to get, or move on to someone who's really valuing themselves and making this activation for him. And when I started doing this with men, like on a personal level, first off, like it just changed the game for everything that has happened in my life in the last 6 months. I would say, especially since my last partnership, because I was starting to understand this. This is when I was doing OnlyFans, when I was with my last partner. And I was starting to understand this more and more. And then it's like I went to Japan and like everything just kind of clicked in my brain. And I understood all of the energy and everything. And then I came back and everything exploded in my face with my partner. And it was perfect like it did not feel perfect at the time, but it's perfect energetically looking back on it, because one, I got what I needed out of that situation with him, the relationship. And I feel like some relationships are karmic connections where we can choose to really rise up into our full power, not because our partner's supporting us, but because of the opposite, because we've just been hurt so badly that, especially as a woman, we've chosen to really get into our anger and really start valuing ourselves. And because for me, I've always had this feminine softness. I just didn't value it before. And then I would go into my Scorpio energy when it wasn't valued, and then I would start getting upset at the man that he wasn't valuing it. But again, women, we are leading the game. So it's like you're inviting someone to come play a game with you, and then you're getting upset that, he's not playing the game that the way that you want, but you're leading on how the game is played. So it just like doesn't make any sense when you understand it. And the way that you can shift this as a woman is just to not take that shit. Like, just be like, no, this is below my standard. I'm not playing this game with you anymore. Bye-bye. And then again, the man has the opportunity to use that as an activation, or they can keep going and doing like fuckboy stuff. But if they keep going and being a player and a fuckboy, it's only going to make them feel more and more unworthy of the feminine's energy, because they know deep down that they are just getting this McDonald's energy food from feminine energy, like when it comes to like cheap energy consumption, and it's not going to be nourishing for their mind, body, or soul. And also for women, if they're allowing themselves to give their energy away so cheaply, they're also not going to be, feeling good, mind, body, and soul. And then this is the loop that's been playing out, I think my girlfriend Kat was saying that she thinks that like one of the biggest negative things that's come from feminism in the last 30 years is women, like this free love thing with women and men, where like everyone's just having sex all the time. And here on the island, this energy is also kind of abundant because people are exploring their sexuality and they're figuring out what does that mean for them. And they're just like, it's kind of one big blob of humans just like connecting to each other. I call it the energetic soup. But as a woman, when you sleep with a lot of men and you're not activating them. And so you're not valuing your energy and your body and your time, and you're allowing them to just freely come in and out of your life and your body. This is not going to feel good in your body. And so there's this movement on the island of women who actually live here longer than just like a season. Like if they just come for the winter, if they actually live here, where like a lot of them become celibate because they're in this mode of like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to give my energy away, but I don't quite understand how to, like, they feel like it's all or nothing. Like they're going to open themselves up all the way or they're going to close it off all the way. And for me, I'm so connected to my body that I'm like, when I was going through my own version of this, I wasn't necessarily like, I need to be celibate. I was just like, no, I just value myself more. So if you're going to like be in my energy and connect to my body and just receive my feminine energy, then you got to work for it. I connected with a man on a dating app recently, and he was like, is it dangerous to date you? And I was like, depends on how powerful you are, honestly. And he was like, I feel like I'm up for the challenge. And I was like, okay, let's see, what else did he say? I can't look at it because it's on my phone, but I really loved the banter because it was basically like my energy these days is like to the point where men immediately can feel like, oh God, she's going to activate me and this one's not going to be easy. Like, I'm not going to just like take her out for a coffee and then we're going to fuck. It's like, oh, I have to like really step into my manhood in order to be in her energy. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, and I think he said something like, I'm ready for this activation, or like I'm ready for the challenge. And I was like, like, I just said to him, like, you're speaking my language here. Like, let's go. And then he was asked me out on a date. So I'll report back and see how that one was. Um, but the thing that I wanted to share about like working with all these men is like the end result that I have given to them, or like by working together, and this is something I just love so much, is like they end up feeling more powerful and more confident in their bodies and in their lives. Like they feel like life is worth living, and they feel this activation of like, oh my gosh, like I understand what I'm meant to do as a man, and I know how to take up space as a man in the world. And so they're able to step more into their power, because a lot of times when you're in freeze mode as a man, you're not living your fullest potential, because you need to take up space in order to do that. And they can feel that, and that doesn't feel good, you know? And they also start attracting in what we call high value women. So they start, because they're in their divine masculine, they start attracting in women into their life who really honor themselves. The women honor themselves. And, you know, they start attracting in these women who are like worthy of a divine masculine, because they've done their own inner work in order to love themselves. And they're actively and ongoingly doing the work to keep themselves in their pleasure, and to, you know, feel good in their bodies, and they're protecting that. The women have their own inner masculine that is not going to take any shit. You know, if you fuck with me, you're out. And like a divine masculine man feels worthy of this challenge. He's like, okay, let's go. I'm ready for this. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I am feeling confident enough to go on this journey. And I find that so beautiful, because that's the real dance that we all want. And that feels really good in all of our bodies, when everyone is valuing themselves, everyone feels good in their bodies, everyone's confident in playing the game, and they understand what the game is. And again, like, you can play whatever game you want, but I'm telling you, I have done relationships for many years. I've hosted play parties for many years. I have coached many people. I have really explored the game of relating, and this is what I have found to be true. So if you're ready for this, I'm just telling you, this is what it is. Like, let's go. Anyways, I'm going to go to the sauna now and be in my pleasure body before I host like almost 70 people in their pleasure body tonight. And I think a beautiful man is going to meet me there and bring me some goodies. Basically, where I'm at now is like, if you're a man coming into my life and you're not like doing something for me or like bringing me gifts, like what are you? You're not allowed in my life. Like basically, like I had a man come and like, I need to drop off something at the post office, like, which is like 15-20 minutes away from here. And I didn't want to go today. And I just like, I'm like energetically, I'm holding my energy to host the play party. So I wrote into my group chat with all my friends. I was like, hey, is anyone available to bring this down for me? And then this beautiful man, Lucas, was like, yeah, I'll come. And he came over and we hugged, you know, we cuddled for a while. And then he took my package down to the post office. And I'm like, yes, you deserve to be in my energy. Like, this is like, you have earned it, you know? And he could feel that, and it felt really good for him. It wasn't me manipulating. It was just me being myself. And I'm like, I'm here for all the activation. Let's go. Okay, so that is my message for you today. I hope that you, things are falling. I just kicked something over. I hope that you like are able to receive this, because if you really can receive this, like, your life is going to change. Your life is going to change for the better. And if you're also interested to learn more, it's so funny to say this. Like, I'm like, I offer coaching for men to step more in their masculine. But basically, I really offer coaching for you to like get the woman that you want and the love that you want, because there's something in you right now that you can feel that is a little bit out of alignment. And this is why you reach out to me, because I'm a safe space to bring that back into alignment. So you can actually get the love that you're desperately craving on the inside. I really feel for men that don't feel safe to open their hearts. You know, that's a lot of men I work with, and I choose to be a safe feminine in this lifetime, for a safe space for men to open their hearts, like, and really let out a lot of this stuff that needs to be cleared out. It's just energy that needs to be cleared out. because we all deserve to feel loved and connected and worthy of this connection. And once we understand this, everything's a game. I always like to say that. And once we understand the game that we're playing, then it feels fun to play the game. And then you have the tools, and then you have the knowledge, and then you're like, okay, let's go. Let's play this beautiful game of relating and connection and love. That feels so yummy in my body to share that. Okay. I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.